All right. Let's settle down. It's just crypto.
I am Just, but my mama call me Justin. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of my beginner's series, walking you through how to dark summon your own combat heroes when you feel you are ready to do so for maximum control, maximum enjoyment in patrols, hunts, and PvP. In part 3, we summoned a hero. Not a great hero, but it's a hero. It'll play. We'll see how it levels up. Vasil Raven Snout is a she. I'll try to call her she, no promises. But in this video, we're going to level her up and see how we can do in terms of RNG and the decisions we can control for making the best patroller we can get. We'll also look at the mechanics for leveling up heroes and how HP and MP is determined, that is RNG, as well as the stats we gain every level, how that's determined exactly. Part of that is RNG, part of that is our decision. And finally, we will evaluate the hero at the end to see how we did. But before we start clicking buttons, let's look back at the DeFi Kingdoms. It's somewhere in the Discord pinned. I will link it in the description. I'm also going to link the wiki/renpin guides and infographics to kind of fill the gap, because I'm sure there are things that I'm not even thinking about that I say in this series that make no sense to beginners. Like, for example, when you go to level up your hero, you go to the meditation circle that is reachable in the pull down here. Anyways, HP and MP growth rates. This part of the game is not my favorite. This is all RNG based on regular, small, large, every level up, and there's nothing you can do. The classes all have different percentages. We're going to be leveling up an archer, which has a 50% chance of getting a regular HP level up, 25 and 25 for large and small, so kind of down the middle. I guess it's exactly down the middle. 40% regular MP gain, 30% small and large. So what is going to happen is vitality, this is where vitality comes into play. For MP, this is where intelligence and wisdom come to play, which are not crucial for archers and such. But I'll come back and analyze this a little bit more in depth once we do our first level, because I think it'll make more sense then. I showed this last time, I believe, the archer growth rates. So this means our primary growth stat is going to be archer. Secondary is not going to be, we're not going to use this because the secondary is actually priest. On a basic level up, you can either get a bonus stat, a primary stat, or a secondary stat for each one of these. So 3 is the maximum we can get for something like dexterity when we level up to 2. With this archer, I'm going to have an 80% chance of getting my primary stat value in dexterity. Where the priest subclass hurts me is on the secondary stat for dexterity. Since it's so low, this gets divided by 4. Only a 7.5% chance to get the secondary point in dexterity because of my priest subclass. We're also going to use a crystal, which helps that. You know what? Let's just do it. It'll be easier to visualize while I'm doing this. Here she is. So our first bonus stat is a guaranteed +1. It tells you here. Dexterity is our most important and best stat, but unfortunately we're going to need to do strength because I didn't use a strength stone. I am aiming to get this to level 6. I have the ability to get this level 6. It's going to patrol. That's its job. But in order to use a good bow, or I want to get my strength rather to 14. That is going to be the best thing I could do for my damage, even more so than dexterity. The minimum you need to use a bow in this game is 9. We want to do better than that, but it's kind of in the middle. More realistic is 11, and I really think it's better to upgrade your bow rather than upgrade your dexterity. So with that in mind, I'm going to take my medicine and actually put the points to make sure I get to 14 strength in here, and my dexterity is going to be pretty poor. So I know we want strength primary, dex secondary. In order to determine whether we want agility, which would be fine, or luck, or something else, endurance, we need to understand a little bit more about the archer. Let's do that now. So at level 1, you get 1 tier 1 skill. When you get to level 3, you get a second skill. And when you get to level 6, you get your third one. So we're going to be here. So what I want to look at is what skills we're going to use, because that's going to affect how we want to level this guy up. I can tell you already, since we got the Swiftness Stone, we're going to want to be left tree because of the way damage scales. And this is a lot bit of a complicated subject matter for new players, but I'm just going to go through it quickly regardless. If you had a bunch of dexterity, this skill, you can see, deals damage based on your attack and your dex. So it scales with dex, in other words. This is the channeling tree, which I don't think you want at all for PvE. There's definitely some use in PvP, but the tree we want is going to be the left tree because nowhere on there does it say that it scales with dexterity. Therefore, it just scales with my attack, which is going to use dexterity and strength based on the bow I have. So I want to do multi-shot for that purpose, and I want rapid shot as well because this also does not scale with dexterity. We have really poor dexterity. It combos with the multi-shot, which we're going to take in one. So if I open up with multi-shot, followed up with a rapid shot, I'll have a chance to stun, which means I might want some luck as my third stat. You know, I need the strength to use the bow. I need dexterity. I'm an archer. That's gonna help my attack more than strength. And then since I already have the agility stone, I think that's gonna help me win initiative every time. So I think my third stat is actually going to be luck to try to get some dazes in here. That's a very powerful effect. And this is as far as we're gonna go. I'm not even gonna look further in terms of what we need on this archer because we're going to level 6. So my plan is to get as much strength as I need, 14, in order to use the good bow. My plan is to get as much dexterity as I can get, and then as much luck as I can get. When I feel like I have enough strength, I will switch this up and go like this. So I'm going to do everything I can do to get as much strength. I just need to hit that floor. I don't want more than 14. It is beneficial to have as much strength as possible, but I just want to hit that point. So right now, we're going to use a crystal. It says during this roll, I'm going to get a 5% more primary stat, 15% more to secondary on strength. So let's look at what that means. My primary class, Archer, is giving me 55% towards a primary strength increase. I'm getting plus 5% based on my lesser crystal. So I'm going to get a 60% chance with this 55 plus 5% to get a primary strength value. I have 100% with the bonus stat, remember, because I picked the top one for strength. And then unfortunately with Priest, we have only 30% base, and then RNG is going to do the rest. So I'd love to get 3, but I'd be okay with 2. I'm sad otherwise. Let's push the button. And then I'm just going to get as much, there's a 50% chance to get a bonus dex and luck. The secondary are based on Priest again, and unfortunately my Priest, this is why I was sad about the subclass. My Priest subclass is not really helping me at all. And since this hero I know has a low, potential, aptitude, whatever, I'm not actually focused on vitality at all, because RNG is what's going to determine my hit points most of all, and I'm not so sure that I need a ton of vitality if I'm super fast and doing as much damage as I can in order to beat patrols. Maybe I'll change my mind. Level future archers a little bit differently. Again, similar to summoning, it's 2 transactions. You get used to it. You'll have to approve the token spend for any crystals, as well as you do spend a little bit of crystal to do this, and Shavas runes. I didn't cover that. I'll try to remember that for the next one. I will, however, tally up the crystals I use at the end for our final results. So this is really good. Wow. We did get 2 points of strength. Great. This was our guaranteed. We got our 50-50 shot on luck. We did not get our 50-50 shot on dexterity. We got our 80% shot on regular dexterity. I think it was only a 7.5% for secondary, so no surprise there. So we only got 1 dexterity. We're low dex. That sucks. Then I believe we hit 2 large pools for both HP and MP. We gained 43. Yep. 43 and 10. So let's look at how that worked. So for our archer, we hit the 25% large and then 25% large. I could tell that because we got, 43 points of hit points. The only way for us to do that with 9 vitality, if it was a regular, it'd be 20 plus 9 is 29. So we got 30 plus 9 times 1.5 time and a half, 43 points. Excellent. And I can also tell you we got the large MP boost. We got 10 points of MP. So I'm not going to go too in depth, but trust me, we got the large one. It would be more like 6 if we had the regular one. So as our intelligence and wisdom grows, it's probably not even going to matter on this. We're going to be either getting 6 or 10 points. This is all going to round up to +1 for these first 5 levels. I can just tell you that. As you get higher in levels, like if we were doing a level 20 archer, eventually our intelligence gain would give us an extra point. So we're getting 7 and 11, and then eventually 8 and 12 in terms of these. I'm doing a bad job of not going too in depth, aren't I? Let's fix that. But yes, this level up was amazing. 9 points, in good spots pretty much. Large, cannot argue. Let's do it again. Since this is a dark summon, we have this badge here. It was +5, now it's +4. That's how we're going to get to level 6. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I want to get to 14 strength. Once we get closer to it, I might back off this a little bit, but 9 is not particularly close to it. It costs us 2 runes. The last one cost us 1. Next one will cost us 3. Goes up by 1 each time you get it, as well as 0.1 on the first level up, 0.2 on the second, 0.3. Like it's very negligible. Those Shavas runes are worth like a fraction of a crystal. But this is the second might crystal we're using. I will switch over to dexterity when I can, when I feel like I'm going to get a good shot of using this bow, but not before. Okay, but this is nice. Not as good as last time. We did get lucky and get 3 dexterity. We got our average on strength, so we're up to 11. Another Agi and Vit is fine. 7 is a little bit above average, not great. Unfortunately, we got the small MP, but another large, 22 plus 23 is 45. We're on our way to 14 strength all the way here at level 3, so I might mix it up a little bit with that in mind. In fact, for level 4, I am actually going to mix it up a little bit like this and use a strength crystal still. I'm kind of splitting the difference. I'm getting my guaranteed point in dex. I can afford to be a little bit lenient since we have 3 more levels to get to 14. I'm going to use the might crystal basically because it's cheaper than the dex crystal, so I'm kind of splitting my time between dex and strength. Once we get enough strength, I'm going to switch over like this and then use the dex crystal because we just want 14 strength. But right now I want to give myself a good shot at getting there. All right, here we go. Not good. Got punished on our strength because we didn't use it. We got some dex, which is nice. 6 is average, slightly above average with the regular stone. Another small MP, so I'm getting concerned. 30 hit points is medium, so we got medium, small, and pretty average here, but no strength. Unfortunately, we are at level 4. We got 2 more level ups to go, so I'm gonna need to, like, this 1 point here bonus would have been strength guaranteed, so I'd be at 12. So I got a little punished for trying to get a little greedy. We'll fix that on the next level. Going back to strength, dex, luck, strength, crystal. Hopefully if I get 2, so then if I get 2 on this one, I can go back to being a little bit more liberal on the next one, trying to get more dexterity, because we want as much dexterity as possible. We already knew before we started leveling up, this guy just is not going to be a high dexterity archer, unfortunately. But our HP is still doing good, MP is a little bit low, everything else is fine. Oh, nice. And this is level 5, I forgot to talk about this. This is where the, wow, this is a great one. Okay, so this is where the uncommon stat comes into play, or sorry, rarity comes into play. At level 1, I didn't really go through it, but I got 2 additional random points at level 1, and I got 2 additional random points at level 5, level 10 if it gets there, etc. So I got them in strength and vitality this time, and this was actually a super lucky roll. 14 is massive, so 2 of those are guaranteed because of uncommon, but we got a 12 based on RNG. You know, our crystal hit, that's why it shows up. Our stone for Agi is helping us. It's giving us a much higher growth rate for Agi. I didn't really talk about that. That's part of the stone. We did great on hit points again. Wow, that's 48 hit points. That's another large. And then we got our medium MP, which was much needed. Didn't want another small there. So we're doing okay on MP. We're doing great on stats. Absolutely great. And we actually overshot our target just a little bit. That is fine. We will not put any more points into strength, dex, Agi, luck this time seems correct. Can always just use a little bit more Agi, definitely want more luck. And now I'm actually going to use a dex. Let's look at what this looks like now. Now that we have switched crystals, we're going to have an 85% at our primary hitting dexterity because of archer, and then 15% plus, not 30, 15% plus our secondary value, so 22.5% chance on our secondary because of our priest. For comparison's sake, if this was a really good hero, and I'm getting, that's where Mythic and Legendary gets 7 points of stats on their level 5 and 10 points of stats respectively. That's why those are so valuable. This is just uncommon. I got those 2 points. Common gets 0, so the uncommon has helped me. I have 4 total more stats because of that. For comparison's sake, if this was a good hero and I was using a greater crystal, 15% instead of 5, 45%. So these greater crystals are extremely valuable for that reason when you're leveling up, and in the market reflects that to a certain degree. But this is not a greater crystal type of hero, though she's doing a good job. Good job, Vassal. All right, our last one, pretty good. Only 1 point of dexterity. Unfortunately, we overshot our strength, unfortunately, but whatever. It still actually does help us a little bit. Agi's great. Got some endurance and luck. This is a good 7. Like there are 8s and 9s that could be worse than this. If I'm getting points into vitality, intelligence, and wisdom at this point, they're pretty much wasted. So I like how it's distributed. Medium again on MP and large again on HP. I think that's 4 larges, a medium, and 2. No. 3 larges, 2 mediums, maybe. This is a good hero. We did really well on RNG. So there's absolutely nothing you can do to affect your chances of those HP pools. And that is what's going to influence your hero's result at the end the most. So let me look at advanced feature in DFK. It's going to show a box and whisker chart, just showing you like what quartile, I believe, based on how you leveled up. This is going to give you a good view of how your guy is relatively leveled up. And you can see here our X is very high up on this. We put 0 points. We put 0 consideration into vitality. It randomly went up to 12. could have been 9 or 8 or whatever, just as likely we'd have slightly less. But like I said, RNG is going to affect this so much more with 5 levels up. You know, when you have 19 levels up to go up to 20, that's where you really want to invest in Vitality. MP, unfortunately, is a little bit low. We had a couple smalls. We had the one large at the beginning. You can see here these greens. We are strong compared to other level 6 archers. That's what all this is in comparison to. We are stronger than average. We are not very dexterous at all. We figured we wouldn't. We're actually trying to be dexterous, and we didn't even make it out of the box. That's bad. We're very agile. We knew that was going to happen. But yeah, this guy's definitely going to be using the left tree to kind of mask the fact that we suck so bad at dexterity. We don't want any abilities to scale off our dexterity. In other words, average RNG only is 7.4. That is excellent. Anything above like 6.5 is good, and we really did well in terms of our RNG. So this is our hero. She's good. She's going to patrol a lot. You know, we did this Dark Summon hoping to hit something really good. We failed, but we got something good instead. We had very good RNG on our level up, so we ended up with an excellent patroller. PvE, we realized, you know, we're not going to be leveling this up to 20 or anything and trying to kill people in PvP. I think that'd be a waste of resources, and it's just not that good in terms of the stats and rarity. It's just not going to work out. But for level 6, it works out great. I should point out that there are different ways to go about leveling up heroes. These are 2 other heroes I've recently summoned in this wallet. This one is another uncommon. It has 10 levels, basically, but the thing about this one is it had Giant Slayer. I actually hit this one. So this hero is, its aptitude is not patrols. Its aptitude is to hop right back in the pit, and despite the fact that it has a regular stone, the best life that it can live is basically passing this Giant Slayer on to a better hero. In fact, the only thing I would worry about when I'm leveling up is what I'm passing on. So I would actually level it up like really stupid, like probably this for 10 levels, in hopes that this Vitality can actually pass Wisdom. And if I choose to put this with a Warrior and Archer, that'll be better for me. I could also do the same with Agility, I guess. That might be even better. I want to average this with a Legendary for a rare floor and put it right back in the pit. Whereas this hero that I summoned this morning was supposed to be a great knight or berserker. It is a pretty good berserker. I don't want to talk about the traits I was trying to pass with this hero. They were purple and blue, beyond the scope of this video. Vigor Stone, so this could go to 20, honestly. Depends how much I like berserkers whenever they get patched. I don't like them at all right now. But I would level this up completely different based on the fact that it's going to 20. But I would actually level this up in the low levels like this. I would use a medium stone based on the floor on this. The legendary is good, the traits are good, the stone is great, but I'm actually going to focus really hard on Vitality on a hero like this that I think that has a good chance of going to 20. If it levels up like crap, I'm not going to take it to 20, but I want to put at least a couple levels pumping Vitality as much as possible, and then maybe around level 5, depends on how we're feeling, I'm going to switch this and not do any Vitality at that point. I'm going to switch back over and focus on Strength or Dexterity. I'm not really 100% sure, but I'm going to level that up. So heroes that I'm going to take to 20 or have a good chance to 20, I want to focus hard on Vitality early. Heroes that you just saw that I know is only going to 6 or that I know is only going to get jumped back right in the pit, I will level up much differently because of that. That's a little bit more of an advanced thing, but if you're following along, don't just kind of level exactly like I'm doing. Don't use the stone exactly like I'm doing. It is a bit more nuanced. I wish I could sit here and explain it to you all day, but we got to get out of here and wrap this thing up. So what else were we to talk about? We expended 4 lesser might crystals and 1 lesser dexterity. I'm going to calculate off screen. The 4 mites were actually 4.5 crystal. The 1 dexterity was 3.5 just by its own. That's why I kind of did it the way I did it. I like to expend might crystals when I can. 8 crystal we spent total on these lesser crystals, and that's 5. Let's clean that up a little bit. Our tears, Shavas, and leveling up crystal was around 1, maybe 1.5. This was the negligible part of it. The swiftness stone was most expensive. The heroes were reasonably expensive, but in total we only spent 257 total. 257. And we had a chance of getting a really good hero. We didn't get it, like $2.50. And yeah, she's going to play. She's going to be good. I'm going to use the left side. I'm going to use multi-shot into rapid shot. I'm going to use her heal trait. And we're going to kill some stuff and see what drops. And then we're going to wake up the next day and do it again. Hang on. I almost forgot. So before we end this, let me show you how I would equip this gal. If you go to the trader, you can trade crystal or jewel for gold. Get a couple 100,000. It's really cheap. And then you can go also in the market to the weaponsmith. So for that hero, we were aiming for 14 strength to use this Squire's Recurve bow. That is 125,000. So you are actually going to need to budget a significant amount of crystal, maybe 40 or so for an archer. It's less for non-archers. It's like 6 times as expensive because there's a lot of demand for bow and it's dynamic pricing. So archers are actually more expensive because of this. I would buy this bow though. You know, we put in the effort to get to 14 strength. This is going to help you a lot. And then with the armorer, this is based not on our strength, but rather on our level. As a level 6 archer, you can use either light or medium armor. This middle tier in both instances. I generally tend to do the medium armor. It's a little bit more physical defense based on your endurance, whereas the light one is more evasive in magical defense. So maybe if I play patrols and I'm taking a bunch of magic damage, maybe light will become a better choice. I'm not sure, but they're about the same thing, about 10 to 13,000. So I would spend another 140,000 gold to equip this. Let's see what that looks like. 140. So yeah, another 43 crystal to equip it with a bow and that. It's going to be less than that for the other classes. And once you equip it, I'll show you how to do that actually. You click on this weapon icon or any of these icons really. It'll pull up the inventory equipment screen. You click again on the bow. It'll show the one bow that you bought. I got lots of stuff. Hit the equip button. It'll queue it. And then you also hit light or medium armor and queue both and equip them both at the same time. Actually, let's do medium like I said. You will submit them both. This just batches them in a transaction. And once that goes through, you will see it update actually on the card, which is really cool. They all look different based on the equipment. Like this is wearing a fancy armor. But yeah, armor and bow is what you want before you enter any sort of combat. The best you can use, more or less. And then once you do that, bridge heroes to Sundered Isle, not Serendale. It's very easy to mess this up. Let's find Vassal again. I'm filtering by class. Here we are. And it will show you that it has a weapon and armor equipped, and then you can bridge to Sundered Isle, not Serendale. Can't emphasize that enough. Gives you a warning that you're doing multiple NFTs, and it's going to charge you a bit of jewel, which is not insignificant as a one-time thing. So once you bridge it there, you spend 1 jewel, 10 more crystal. If we're keeping track, we're a little bit more, maybe $3 at this point to do this for 1 hero. But I recommend you just spend this once and ship it with its armor and weapon. And then once it's in the Sundered Isles, you don't need to worry about it. You're going to pledge it and then get ready for patrols and summon 2 more heroes to join it. So that is all for real. Hope you enjoyed this series. Hope you learned something, whether you're a brand new or an intermediate player or an advanced player. Maybe there were a couple of nuggets in there as well. But regardless, I will see you up in the Sundered Isles patrolling and fighting PvP. Come say hi in the Discord. Ask any questions that I didn't cover in the Discord. I'm sure there's plenty. Hope it was helpful. Y'all take it easy.